Wyatt, you
Hey
exist.
guys.
Wyatt.
Hey everybody.
Good to see you too. How are you?
doing?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Excellent. If it wasn't for the IRS.
Well, there's a story there that you probably don't want on camera.
Happy holidays.
Hi.
Nothing says holidays like a demonic clown girl about to kill everybody, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's how
No,
I celebrate the
flashbacks!
holidays.
Oh, hey Wyatt. Man, I'm glad you're here. Well, you can protect me. Every time I'm at a Comic-Con, I get beat up by Harley Quinn.
I've never noticed that.
So this is our shortest episode. I don't know if anyone else knew that. Dan probably knows, but this is our shortest episode, and it's because we didn't know what we were doing at all. So we were 19 minutes below runtime.
I swear you guys can't do anything right.
So there
Two
you
shorts
go.
is enough.
You only had one short. Well, there's only one
No, it was
short.
two.
Oh, are you talking about the zip codes thing? Okay.
This is Mr. Zip.
I'm not coming down. I think I took too much this time. I need help.
The heart of the system is a number, a zip code number.
And that zip codes thing is one of the things we added in, not for time, but because there was a very obvious editing flaw.
For instance, the 06 pinpoint Chicago.
Illinois, where dead people
And the
can
last
still
two
vote.
numbers,
No, that isn't even Rabbit Ears Perfect. That's just bad. Usually, like, Rabbit Ears Perfect will be, we've done everything right. There's nothing we could have planned for any better, right? And then a piano falls on us as we're crossing the street. That's Rabbit Ears Perfect.
Holiday from Rules? I don't know. You tell me.
Which is
I loved writing for that short.
funny.
I did.
Yeah, then you could do anything you wanted to.
Then I could burn them all.
I'm like, I just found, I went to the archives and found something about holidays. So here, it's a holiday short. And you're like, this isn't about the holidays.
The crew cut boy had no misconceptions. He's comfortable with being a follower.
Like, it has holiday in the title. And then he said, but I wrote it anyway.
go to a place without rules.
Just stick this piece of paper on your tongue and lean
Let's all
back.
think.
I loved writing for that because there's all these little moments where I'm like, what are they even talking about? Like,
Well, let's say this island is surrounded by man-eating sharks.
in a place that they have just said no person has ever been inhabited this land. No one's ever been there, and they describe them as man-eating sharks.
What? Sorry? I was confused by the lips in the sky.
I have a confession for you. And that is that you have a joke in there about
Look, what are those round things?
Oh, must be a male tree.
everyone starts laughing, and Gary especially grabbed me and he's all, a male tree, oh my gosh. I didn't get it. And it was like this huge joke, and I'm like, I was thinking like a mailman, like it's a mail tree, like he's mailing something. And I was just like, what?
Jeff, your innocence is charming.
Well, your mom.
That short had one that actually made me crack up when I saw it, which was the
Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact.
See what you did.
as the hamster's running away. It was like,
You used to quote that all the time.
I
too.
know, don't
Yeah.
make eye contact.
Here it is.
Wait a minute. How did real coconuts get to a papier-mâché forest?
What I liked was just as the little girl going,
A rule pen.
Bite me, narrator.
like,
Right.
like I loved recording that. There was just something so wonderful about talking like a 5-year-old girl and going, bite me, narrator.
That isn't fair. You can't hold me, so I can't reach home.
I believe the protocol here is a swift kick to the groin.
That was
It
our first
weird.
short. That was our first short.
Wow.
And it was weird.
I should probably tell you this isn't covered under your medical plan.
It was brilliant.
Four
It was a
times, you
brilliant
said.
short. I loved everything about that. I mean, it had radioactive vomit.
The
That vomit is radioactive.
A make-believe island.
Call it what you want. I know radioactive moldy vomit when I see it.
You can't.
Yes.
There's clearly radioactive vomit.
Did somebody say, I think I would have preferred the death place or
That's right.
what's it?
Something like that.
The death cloud.
The death cloud.
I just realized this movie is each of these kids' claim to fame.
I swear, as I was writing it, I just had all of these epiphanies about this thing. Because yeah, those kids, I mean, that from an acting thing, that was probably their thing, you know? They've done that.
There are a few names you should never answer to.
The other sad thing is that, you know, after all these years, we're still talking about that short.
But what if I want to?
You'll die.
Juliet, this is your fault. What'd you think of Tammy?
Hey, Mom!
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I think I did a tiny little bit part for like later on Dragnet thing. And it's hard. Like it's a very different mindset and way of doing things. And I was really impressed. I thought she just...
A growing boy needs more than just yogurt in their house. There's all kinds of things that are missing in here. I'm just going to run to the store and get a few things.
Mom, we're fine.
I don't like the cheese grater that you've got, and you don't even own a spice rack. What kind of man doesn't own a spice rack?
This is actually the last thing that I know of that she did, and she refused to watch it. But I wanted her to do it, and I lied to her. I'm sorry, Tammy, because she said, "Why aren't you going to get?" And she mentioned someone. Juliet's mom, and she said, "Well, I don't understand why you're asking me. You should ask, you know, her." And I was like, "Oh no, she's out of town."
Well, if you need me, I'll be in the kitchen baking some cookies.
Tammy, not to say that she's not that person like in real life, but she's good at that role. Like she was the right choice.
You know, you really don't look good. Did the movie make anyone else sick?
It's impossible for a movie to make someone physically ill.
Have you seen Mulholland Falls?
You can't have a different mom. I mean, you've already got a thing.
See, now that would have been funny. That would have worked. That would have been weird. Yeah. Or explained a lot about my family.
My mother thinks they're silly, and I never met my father.
It was just a lot of fun, and half of it I just didn't know what we were doing.
Don't drink the mojitos.
Well, and that fits. That's exactly what your character is too, right?
Which is exactly what my character is. So I had to. So I just stayed in character the whole time. That's what I did. So.
Oh, it's starting.
In this one, like he has all these lines where he's giving like little tidbits of historical things.
Macy's was founded by Roland Pusey Macy, who between 1843 and 1855 opened 4 retail dry goods stores, including the original Macy's store in downtown Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Wyatt's character had to become much bigger. And so when we did that, it's like, he can't do that because someone will shoot him, you know?
You couldn't justify Vicky not killing him.
Right.
Exactly. But in this one, you have these great bits in the film where you're just talking about it.
The history of why there are swinging gates like that in courtrooms.
I get stuck on those moments because you'd start doing that and I'd be like, "Oh, that's me. Oh, cool. That's interesting." The thing where that's your one warning. Like, okay, I'm not supposed to find this interesting.
and then at one point, like, I love how he says, "Okay, now don't hit me."
Okay, first of all, don't hit me. Second, did you know that official government agencies have to be regulated by 2 of the 7 following organizations? Ow!
Juliet, did you notice Duffy's Christmas gift? Did you recognize it?
Yes! Oh my goodness! And I wrote it down. I was like, I know that prop. I grew up with it. Just sitting there in the house. It was Humphrey Bogart. It was like the weird thing with the tiny like body and the giant Humphrey Bogart head. Yeah.
That was one of those instances where I'm just at someone's house and I go, "Oh, can we borrow that?" Because it's weird.
Guys, look! I just traded my gift for this.
No backstories. No who it was or why or what even his gift was. It doesn't matter. Now he's
I just had it.
Yeah.
No. gonna be okay, Humphrey. It's gonna be okay.
This episode had, I think, the first time of what would be a running Dan thing to do, which is to run into the room and throw everything off the table that somebody's working on.
Right.
Okay, check it out. Here's mine.
I remember the nativity eggs. I don't remember where that idea came from. I remember making it, and as a matter of fact,
remember the eggs?
I remember I remember making it, but I don't remember where that idea came from. But I do know that I didn't have it done. And so the whole time we're filming the episode, I'm supposed to come in with it. I didn't have it done. So the whole time we're filming the episode, I'm working with this little construction paper book. I'm actually making it during the episode because I didn't have it done. So when I'm like cutting things out, and like I'm actually trying to make that before we get to that scene.
I loved how it just says mom, like you just gave up.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I think I ran out of time. I was just like, what am I going to do? Mom!
Christmas Moose says, love your mother.
Well, I guess we should talk about the movie.
Yeah.
On 35th Street, the zombie apocalypse rages on.
So having watched 2 versions of Miracle on 34th Street recently, wow.
Watch as Santa shows the children how to use a riding crop. Happy holidays, folks.
I was confusing it with a different one.
There's a worse one?
Yes, it's so much worse.
Why are all these people chasing me?
People who really like the original one, people who really like the original one were sitting there like writing down the script as they went along, and then they just, like handed it to people and said, okay, do this as fast as you can.
Dinner's at 3 o'clock.
Dinner is at 3 o'clock?
Except there were 2 different casting directors, and one of them thought they were doing like this possibly romantic drama.
Here we are, as close as 2 people can possibly be, and yet there's a loneliness about it.
A deep, dark, made-for-TV loneliness.
I tried my best.
And then the other person was casting a thriller about some crazy guy who thinks he's Santa Claus and he's haunted by the ghost of a little girl that he accidentally... Are there any kids around? I don't know if there are any kids around, but
What could you possibly want with a house like this?
The leprechaun
told me to burn it.
But I want a backyard and a swing and... She can't get it, huh?
So... but other than that, it was pretty good.
Kind of got to go to school.
School is for losers.
Yes, but this is what they call a required function.
State standardized testing? Oh, no, sir. This is evil.
Progressive school request your...
She was in the movie Them, which is about like all these giant ants who come and eat people. And she has the famous line from that movie. So
Santa, it's
Do you like that story?
them.
Mitchell, yeah. He's a great actor.
Yeah, like, the British nation and the French nation. Well, this is imagination.
Like Narnia?
Uncle Billy in It's a Wonderful Life, but he was also the Des, the news reporter in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, both of which are like 2 of the top movies ever made. He is just this amazing, fun actor. He's just a comic, fun guy, fun actor. And he's so bad in this. Like,
Say, how would you like to make snowballs in the summertime? Or drive a bus down Fifth Avenue? Or be the Statue of Liberty in the morning? And in the afternoon,
sounds like
a flock of
fun.
geese flying south.
Mom!
Well,
he's so creepy. Like he's trying to be goofy, but I don't know. Is it working?
No, it really isn't.
Santa is off his meds again.
We will rule the world!
Oh my God,
Like
this is
dressing up as
Alfred
Santa
from
Claus.
Batman's backstory?
Yes, there we go. Hi, Harley.
I didn't say that.
Sawyer's not listening to him, and he says, well, there's only one way to get through to you, and he like smacks him a little bit, but like taps him. It's not okay, but he's still like, it's not hard. But in this one, he just like wails on him. It was nuts.
Now he's gone too far.
Die! Die! Die!
Oh, then and he stands over him like, I am the greatest.
Yeah, well, and he says to the kids like, well, he just went too far this time. I'm like, oh God, this is a thriller. This is
are clinging to childish fantasies.
Play it cute and I get my own house.
Realities.
I think one of the most accurate jokes in there was when someone called him a vaudeville villain, because he really does look like a vaudeville villain. It's like,
Does not exist. Never has existed.
You're going down, little man. Ho, ho, ho.
This
I love after the attack, which is, I think, my favorite line in the entire movie, although it's might be tied with one other I'll mention in a minute, but is when they go to the sanitarium and they're like,
So wait, they committed him for hitting someone with his cane, but they let him keep his cane?
Hello, Fred.
I think it's Wyatt's line.
That's one of my favorites here too.
Like, okay, we'll put you away. You can have the cane, though. No problem. No problem.
Oh yes, I said yes. I said excellent point, Wyatt. Yes.
Yeah, it's Wyatt.
Well done, Wyatt.
well done, Wyatt.
The only chance would be to prove you legally sane in a public hearing.
We're screwed.
In a total emotionally overreaction, Kris Kringle goes to turn off the light.
You ready? Oh, no, you don't.
I don't allow strangers to touch my lamp.
Oh, my.
And it was just like, it was so funny to me because he's just like, no!
You ready? Oh, no, you don't.
I don't allow strangers to touch my lamp.
Oh, my.
That actually, yeah, I liked that right after that he says,
While he's asleep, I'll shave his beard.
that was a pretty good one. Kind of primed, it's just right there, ready to be shaved.
Always sleep with the mouth.
It's my own personal spider trap.
One of the writers on this was Tony Wheeler, and
I've been thinking about Mrs. Walker.
Who hasn't?
his humor is not overly appropriate.
My mother thinks they're silly, and I never met my father.
My mother reads me
My mother and father were divorced when I was a baby.
I know a Tony joke, and that had like the bit about the guy sitting hanging out with a little girl watching parades. First of all, it is weird, but that's a Tony joke.
About you too, the man in the front apartment.
Who likes to just hang out with little girls and watch parades?
It's like going to a midnight showing of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You'll never see it again.
Meanwhile, in Santa's holiday prison,
I think the guy who played Mr. Shellhammer, who works with Mrs. Walker.
He's crazy, thinks he is Santa Claus.
Well, I don't care if he thinks he's the Easter Bunny. You better get him back.
Is that guy drunk? Great a risk.
Like, I recognize that voice. Who is that? Like, who is this? Because his face wasn't quite as familiar, and I had to look it up. He played Captain Hook.
Maybe just a little bit insane.
But a whole lot sexy.
I think, he also, I wrote this down, he also played Thorin Oakenshield in the 1977 animated Hobbit, but I guess people probably wouldn't be quite as excited about that as me.
If I can supply the room, the least you can do is furnish a free meal.
KFC it is, I guess. I don't know how to cook.
So, Juliet, you were talking about the weird romantic movie. Did you get all the Star Wars, Clone Wars references, or did that go over your head?
Somehow I just don't think we've got it.
And besides, I hate sand.
Because they had like a Anakin Skywalker, I forget her name, Natalie Portman chemistry going. But what I mean by that is none.
I was just beginning to think this time it might work out.
So was I, but...
I've turned to the dark side.
Why does the mom let the kid stay with Santa Claus? Like, she obviously doesn't want her child to be influenced by these mythologies or crazy people or whatever. But the kid's always with him.
A Christmas play without Santa Claus.
Miracle on 34th Street. That place sucks. I'm not going.
So when I was writing the live action script, I very intentionally tried to separate the parents and the kids in the group.
So are Wyatt and I the only ones with gifts? I guess we're trading Wyatt.
That's lame.
Then Wyatt, and they're physically separated from everyone else, and Wyatt says...
Sometimes I think things are a bit too immature around here.
And then, of course, there's some gap, and I'm like, well, something immature has to happen right then. And I thought back to my childhood, to be honest, and I thought, what's the most immature thing that adults could be doing right here? We're not reenacting Star Wars. Dan, you want to...
They're not. This is not Star Wars. This is Bill and Ted.
I'm Darth Ted. I look Bill.
They're
Was that an actual
reenacting.
scene in
Oh
Bill
yeah,
and
it's the knights when they're dressed in the armor.
Yeah, the knights.
You're not my father, David.
I forgot
Don't
about
be
that.
dead,
scene,
dude.
So they're not reenacting Star Wars. They're actually reenacting Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted reenacting Star
Oh,
Wars.
that is excellent. Most
Excellent.
excellent.
Yeah.
I love that they break the broom that your mom just bought.
It's just that lovely judgy mom
It's an
tone.
excellent lightsaber.
I see the stuff I bought at the store is being put to good use.
Like this one, you could see the beginning of it, the beginning of the big setup for Wyatt's entrance.
Okay, so for the gift exchange, I've got these 5 slips of paper. and I
Wait,
put
wait,
them in
wait.
this-
Why 5 slips of paper?
Came on screen and I was like, what? Like,
Ho, 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 everybody! I hope I'm in time for the gift exchange.
Behind the door, there were like steps or something, so it was very awkward getting in and out of the door. And so, and when I had to leave the door real quickly, I had to be careful. So I wouldn't like bust up my knee or something. So,
Is there anything going on here today that won't make me sick?
Hey guys, did you know that they're playing a Gamera movie on Channel 62?
Sometimes I think you're just waiting outside for proper entrance.
And it reached like this plateau, like it's like better. And then sort of towards season 4, it was like, I'm out of ideas. Like, what can we say before Wyatt comes in? I'm out. I got nothing. I don't know anymore. My favorite was with Eli.
Thanks for the invite. I'm so glad to be out of the house and away from my idiotic neighbors.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Were you just standing around waiting outside?
And he convinces you to go back out.
yeah.
Alright, this is we have to place a bet on how long you can.
I got tired of waiting.
Yes, like there's no way to top that. Like it's a weird joke, but whatever, it evolved and it worked really well. It was really funny.
Now somebody better have a solid, sane statement for me within the next 5 seconds, or I'm leaving!
Hey guys, what is Pete doing out there with those birds? Oh man!
Oh no, Chris left his cane here.
Chris left his cane here. He knows where we live. Oh no!
Wait, he knows where we live. It's just like,
should have had horror movie music playing. Like,
I ask to be removed from this case.
But it's really subtle things that I'm not sure if an audience would really notice that much.
I once saw a Teletubby beat up a clown.
Oh, no, you did not.
I sure did. I can tell you when and where to prove it.
There's a lot more emphasis on the fact that we're not paying our cable bill because we were trying to hammer home to people what was going on.
Imagine a bonus.
Hey, now I can afford to pay my cable bill.
Speaking of Dwarf Torts of Jeremy Torts, I think there was a reference to some games in this episode that even said dwarf, but it wasn't Dwarf Tourist. It was like, this is before Dwarf Tourist? No!
They play silly games.
They do.
Like World of Warcraft or
They were
Dwarf
playing
Lord:
Zoo,
The Conquest.
And all of the
Yes, that's right.
And it was a game title that I made up, Dwarf Lords: The Conquest. And then when I wrote season 3, I was like, oh yeah, we're putting Dwarf Lords: The Conquest in. And Matthew said, that's not strange enough. He actually came up with Dwarf Tourists and Jeremy Torts. I don't know where. But I was always like, no, Dwarf Lords: The Conquest. What is it? That's fine. That's perfectly legitimate. But I lost that argument.